Hello and welcome to Maverick Workshop. Today I went on a hike and I took my dogs out. We had a good time and I found some dead wood out on the trail while I was going, and it looked pretty dry, and this is what it looked like when I found it. And I mean, I got a couple pieces, but this is one of them. So it's pretty big. It's very knobby. It's got holes in it where bugs used to be, and that's how all the bark and the outer portion of the tree was removed. Now, when I broke it, it had a nice smell to it. So if at this point you already know what it is, then you'll know that it's probably not a great idea to make a pin out of it. However, we're gonna do it anyways. So with that being said, at what point do you think it's gonna get a little wild? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get to it. Okay, so here we are on the ways of my lathe here, and this is one of the pieces that I found that was broken, so you can get a little bit of a better look there. If you don't know, it's a little sticky, a little tacky, and it also smells pretty good. If you don't know by now, it is a pine tree that has, ran its life cycle almost, because we still got another thing for it to become. And this is actually used to start fires, if you didn't know already. So don't do everything that you see on the internet, I guess. I'm gonna take this piece, and I was gonna use a big saw that was my grandfather's. This guy right here. Looks like a Corsair, made in the US in Minola, New York. Pretty cool item, but I don't want to get all the teeth gummed up with the sap. So I'm going to use Noisy Cricket, a little Stanley saw here. And for this, I'm actually going to be focusing on just that little end right there, because I think I can accomplish what I need to, about right here or so. But yeah, I think I can get a big enough chunk, because the majority of the other stuff is super duper thin. So this is what we're going to try to do. The reason I'm not using my bandsaw is because I didn't want to get the teeth sappy. So this is that little piece. I think I can go ahead and work on this little end right here. But I'm going to cut this to a little flat thing I can work with as well, just so we can have a better idea of what we're working with. Nice. Okay, so I went and I got the moisture meter to see what the moisture content actually was. These prongs are actually kind of like, I guess, snake fangs, because they're behind these little covers there. You can take them off, but it's just better to keep them on, and they already have existing holes to go through. Okay, so we're going to take this, and then you just press it in. Oh, shoot. Sorry. All right. turn it on, and then you check the moisture content. It looks like we're pretty wet. Let's check the other side here. Check the other side. Try to get it in the middle as much as possible. All right, still pretty wet. On the outside though, let's see what we're looking like. Woo! All right, it's real wet. I don't think it goes higher than 24, or maybe. That's 18. All right, well, it's super wet on the outside. It's about, what was that, 18? 17 and 24, so the difference is what, 7? About 7? Yeah, something like that. All right, so that's what it looks like. Turn this off, protect the prongs, put it away. What better kit than a Duraclick EDC? Huh? Looks like we got a gunmetal click. Yeah, got a gunmetal kit here. We're gonna throw this on that. We're going to drill, and for this we need a 8mm drill bit, and it's gonna go this far. Whoop. We need to find the best place for this to go. And it kind of looks like I'm gonna mount it maybe this way or something like that, and just try to make it in line as possible. All right, so this is take one. I think I've got it about where I need to be able to go as far as I need to. Now, it doesn't have to be super thick, it just needs to be able to make it all the way through. And the other thing is I've got my respirator on, and I've also got stuff ready in case something spicy does happen. All right, let's take a look. Yep, here we go. We'll take a look and see how it's looking. All right, let's go for it. Nice and easy. Not a lot of resistance on drilling. It's nice. Clear out some of the stuff. Make sure we vacuum that. Okay, we're going to continue here a little bit further. I guess until we come out the other side. All right, I did see some chips come out. Nice and easy. Hey, still nothing. This is a natural resin. This is pine sap, which smells really good. So let's see where we ended up coming out. Looks like at the very top here. So hopefully that will be long enough. If not, there's actually a couple things that we can do because we make custom pins. So this is what it looks like right now. Then you can see right about here is where it started to come out. And so this is the brass tube. And I test fit it. Make sure you have a brass magnet handy, just in case you got to pull it back out and you can't reach it or something. But it looks like it is going to fit. And then you got your brass magnet that you got to reach in there and pull it out with. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and just cut the other end here just a little bit more so I don't have all that to deal with. Okay, so I cut a little bit off, and instead of remounting it in the lathe, I'm just going to use my my hand drill and then just finish it up. And it's not far, it's right there, you can see it. So there you go, just that little bit. Just wanted to make sure we were able to cap it. So we're gonna come back up. And for this, I don't know if you know, but if you use an essential oil, citrus essential oil, like the real stuff, I'm gonna end up using lemon on this particular one, and so it'll take all that stickiness off. All right, one more thing. I was a little bit off, so it's nice and big on that side, but it just goes right through to this end, but I have this little wedge right here, so I'm gonna have to do some pen maker stuff and make it work. So let's see exactly where we are. So, oh wow. It might actually work. It might actually work the first time, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. So I'm just going to glue the tube in. And glue it in, and then we're going to try and trim it a little differently. Alrighty, be ready just in case something were to happen again. So we've got our brass tube. I've got some medium CA glue. This is Starbond. I usually use mercury, but we're trying out Starbond now and seeing how that goes. Hashtag not sponsored. Okay, now that's out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and do this here. Uh-oh. Well, this is awkward. Just a moment. In case you didn't know, you can take a pair of pliers, squeeze, then if you really need to, you can mess up the tip. See what I did there? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But really, you just kind of break the plastic up at the end of it, and then you'll have your glue. It won't be the precise anymore, but at least the end will have been broken up a little bit, hopefully, which it has. Sweet. All right, so we're going to get this nice and juicy. Your lathe is not the greatest workbench, but, you know, 'tis what it is. I'm going to try to keep it nice and flush on the this particular side here. So it's just a little bit recessed down there, but it's about flush on the other side. So that is what we're going for. Get that little wipe off. And then we can see where our brass tube is. And so what I'm thinking is we don't want to use, let me put this away right quick before it gets onto my face somehow. What we don't want to use is a barrel trimmer, which I had it, and I don't know where it went. But what that's going to do is it's going to go right in, and it's going to spin, and it's going to rip these little pieces apart. So we want to be more careful. So we want something that's going to spin a lot faster, I think. So I might end up using a Dremel for this, just so I can be very careful with that end there. All right, now we have our little Dremel. It's a little drill press that I've got oriented sideways. I got my mask. I'm going to be putting my mask on before I do it. So I've got it on right now. And what we're going to do is we're just going to trim this part back to try and get in line with this brass that's right there. So we could see if we're close enough to be able to accomplish the kit as is, or if we need to modify it. Almost. Almost. It's not the right bit, by the way. Oh, don't get too hot. Don't get too hot. Guarantee it would start that way. All right. The bit is just way too bad. And I think it's getting gummed up too. All right, I just took the handsaw. You can see that we still have a little bit to go, but I'm gonna do this again a little differently because I don't want it to heat up too much. What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a live center and a dead center, and then we're gonna turn it round-ish. So I just need to clear this spot. We'll leave this part alone. We'll just do this side. I won't be pushing very hard with these. I'm not using this. However, I am taking one of the bushings off to use it. To use that. So that's for the kit. This is a center bushing. And the other one's just going to be in between center. Adapt and work through the problem, you know. So this will be over here. And this goes onto here. Just like that. And this goes into there, and it'll go a little bit into the tube, so that's good. Okay. Remember, we don't want it too tight. Not tight. Nice and loose. Not that either. Get out of here. Tool rest. We're not going to use the dust collection yet. Okay. Ooh. Okay, maybe we are going to use just the live centers to see if we can make it so it's just the cone. We don't want to push down too hard because that brass is not very strong. So now we're just going to try and trim this down just a little bit to see where we are. Okay, I'm gonna go a little deeper. There we go. All right. That should be just a little bit right there. Just a little bit. Okay, that's going to end up being an accent band. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and barrel trim this side, and then I'll come back and show you what I'm going to do with that. If there was one particular problem that I had with this Duraclick EDC, this is a Parker style refill, and then this is the normal, what a normal refill looks like, right? This one's not branded because it doesn't come branded, but it's Parker style. But then this has to go on the top in order for the ink refill to be long enough to function inside the pen. Now, I want to make it just for a Parker style refill, and the Fisher Space Pen is the ink refill of choice for me. And what I'm going to need to do is I need to measure this part right here from about this line right there to the top, or I guess the bottom of this part here, and then take the white piece off and then measure it again and then calculate the difference. So I ended up doing with all the components together right here, this, and this all together. So I did do it the way that I talked about it before, from the top of the threads here and then to the black, where the black meets the silver here. So that was 36.5, and then the other one was 24.8 when I measured it. 24.8, and so the difference there is about 12.5, which is right where we need to be. This piece is about 12.5. So we can take off 12 millimeters. However, because of the measurements that have been goofy on a smaller scale, we're going to go ahead and just take this, measure it. So we're about 12.6. I'm going to lock it in and then pull this piece out. I could also use this piece as my template to cut the barrel back. all set up. Everything's done. What I'm going to end up doing is putting that little spot right there. It's a little flat. We're going to put the clip right on top of that. Yep. So we got the pen press. We got our ink refill. We're going to go ahead and adjust a little bit here. This is going to be the clip side. This is going to be the other. That's the flat spot right there. So I like to go ahead and put the cone in because I have a little hole on this side. And so boom. Press that together. And then you need to make sure that if you want the clip in or on, make sure you have it in like that. And then we're going to put it right there. There we go. That's about good. Make sure it doesn't dance around on you. All right, back it up just a little bit more. And then you'll have the last chance to make the adjustments. And let's make sure that we are right where we want to be. There. All right, cool. All right, now this is a shorter version. We already talked about this in the beginning. Come on, Schmidt SK88. This is a Schmidt SK88 click mechanism. So here we are with that. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the Fisher Space Pen refill. This is a blue one. And then this is the little adapter that if you do happen to order Fisher Space Pen refills, this is the little piece that makes it Parker size. As you can see, we're not quite Parker size, right? We're a little short. Those are side by side. On the left, you got the Fisher, and then the right, you got the Parker style. Now, when you put the adapter on that came with the Fisher Space Pen, now we are the same. Now, because I didn't want to put this on top as well, it would fit like that, and then it would make it that much taller. So that's about how much we cut off of the brass tube. So the moment of truth is finally here. Time to make sure that it actually fit. Oh, we need the spring, I'm sorry. I was getting a little excited. I just want to see if it does fit. Oh man. And how about that? What do you know? A plan that came all the way together. That's a good thing, because it was going to be firewood if it didn't. But yeah, here we go. This is the pine pen. I could have done a better job finishing. But this is the pine pen made from kindling. The pattern's pretty cool. The smell, you can still smell it, but maybe it's also on my fingers. I don't know. But here we are. This is it right there. I think we worked out pretty good. Let me know what you think. We didn't actually have a fire, so that's why I took that little piece and I hoped something would happen, but it is what it is. All right, so here's where we started. That's that same piece, and this is what it looked like before. And then this is what you can find available like at your grocery store near the firewood stuff. Now, I could have used this, but it wouldn't have been as fun as, you know, bringing it from the woods from my hiking trip. So here we are. We've got this, and it's looking pretty good. I think that it's going to have, I think it's going to take some of the oils off of my skin, and it's going to have a bit of a patina on it. over time. So because it's still a little sticky, but it's kind of like when you have something sticky on your finger and then you put it in like dirt or powder or something, then it all sticks to that and then it becomes less sticky. You know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, that's it. Here we go. That was fun.